Does Luis Robert Jr. still have trade value this offseason? We'll find out as I give out my 2025 report cards next here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. CHGO White Sox podcast coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. Alongside me, Sarah.
Hi.
Hello. I didn't mean to cut you off. My producer.
That's okay.
What's up?
Were you going to say my last name?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I was just going to say your title.
Do you know my last name?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
It's the German name. Oh,
yes.
You're not hiding it. Victor.
Victor.
Yeah, we know your last name.
That was good.
All right, anyways, we know Sarah's last name, and honestly, that's really all the White Sox news from today. There's nothing really going on. You know, there's baseball going on. But even in, like, the baseball world outside the games being played, there's not much going on. So if you're wondering, like, what's going on with the hitting coach? Not much. What's going on with the pitching coach? Not much. So, you know, hang in there, White Sox fans. I don't have much to take away from last night's game outside of complete sadness for the Seattle Mariners. I thought that the Seattle Mariners were going to win pregame. Heading into the 7th inning, I felt pretty secure that the Mariners were going to hold on to that 2-run lead. And what a shot right in the heart to all of Seattle. I don't understand not walking Springer. I don't understand not having Munoz in. They go with Bizzardo. Springer does what Springer does. I am shocked they just didn't load the bases and then bring in Munoz. It might be a decision that haunts, it's not even Scott Service anymore. It's what, Dan Scott? I forget who it was. It's the former baseball player. What's going to bother me? Dan Wilson. That might be a decision that haunts Dan Wilson for a long time there. And as we talked yesterday, like, that painful quote of Jerry DiPoto saying, hey, we want to win 54% of the time. And it might be tough. You know, that's not like, 60%. Like, we're trying to aim for a 10-year window of 54%. That's what World Series winners do. That quote got them in a lot of hot water. They didn't spend this offseason. They thankfully were playing well enough to add at the deadline. And even then, it looked a little bit rough there. And then they went on this fantastic run where they won like 23 out of 24 games, something stupid like that. But even then, like, it felt like they had their opportunity, and their opportunity ended up in the left field bleachers of the Rogers Center. Absurd for the Blue Jays. They're going to lose in 4, I feel, though. That 13-1 record from the Dodgers seems imminent. I hate to say it as a fan of the 2005 White Sox fans, or as a fan of the 2005 White Sox team, but I got a bad feeling that the Dodgers are just going to steamroll the ever-living hell out of the Toronto Blue Jays. So that's pretty much happened in baseball. On today's show, we'll talk about what happened in 2025. We'll talk about Luis Robert Jr.'s report card. Does Luis Robert Jr. still hold trade value? And we'll go through all of that. If you have any thoughts, let us know in the chat. Good to see Jim in the chat. He says yes. Next question. Well, Jim, the point about the podcast is we actually kind of talk about that one question for a long time. And it actually, even before the question, there's the report card part, bud, where we're actually going to give him grades and then maybe elaborate more on why he does or does not have trade value. Thanks so much, Jim Cook, for stopping by. Go get some RC sugar, zero sugar free, please. Or I don't know what's it called, RC zero sugar. Sarah, what the hell am I saying? RC zero sugar.
RC Cola zero sugar.
RC Cola zero sugar.
RC's zero sugar.
There we go. And Goop Like Soup chiming in saying, Sarah, what up? And that it was a big moment for sure. He's got the Jays winning 1 game. We'll see. Let's get into Luis Robert Jr. We're going to talk about his offense. We're going to talk about his defense. We're going to talk about his overall performance and also mix in, I think, offense into base running into offense. I know it's split up on StatCast as 3 separate stats, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go down my own route. I think we're going to go into, what we want. You have that graphic made really quick, and it's a lot nicer than I thought it was. Look at that. Nice job. Where'd you get the loose leaf texture?
Oh, I know Dropbox like the back of my hand.
You do.
I go to some old templates that we had, and I just threw this together.
Very nice. All right. I'm excited to show our report card in just a second. All right. There's a tease for you. At least StatCast graded him out. Luis Robert Jr., batting run value, -3 on the percentiles from 0 to 100 percentile. Luis Robert Jr. is a 33 percentile hitter, at least when it comes to run value, below average, but better than poor. Base running value, 76 percentile. That's a 2-run value. Again, 75%. That's halfway in between great and above average. And then fielding, nearly a great fielder, 7 fielding run value, 88 percentile fielder. We can look at the report card now. We're going to go in more depth than just where he bubbled out. But offense, I know it's below average, but we are putting base running into that. So part of the reason why it's a C+ for 2025 and Luis Robert Jr. when, this year he hit, I thought his numbers here. He hit, there it is. 223, 297, 364. Not great, Bob. However, we're including the 33 steals into that, so that's part of why the offense is a C+. I also have some thoughts on his eye and why I think that 233, that 364 should be above 400 next year. His defense, we're giving him a B. I know that it was nearly an elite year for him defensively, but there were still some plays where you wonder, is he all there? Also, you wonder too, with him diving left and right in the outfield, is it worth it if he's just going to continue to get injured? So difficulty there. Overall, I'm giving him a C+. We'll hash that all out. Now, if you have any thoughts, let us know. Grumpy Pig and Friends saying his value is not what it was in 2023, early season 2024. The return will be marginal at best, which is true. Looking after that 2023 season, 38 homers, 20 steals, all-star performance, nearly won the home run derby. You had that player for several years under control, team control. The value was absurd. And the Sox didn't really think of trading him at all after that year because they thought there still possibly was a window. It was the second year of Pedro Grifol's managerial year, and they really didn't want to kind of pull the rug out from underneath Pedro Grifol, and then the worst season ever happened. So they kind of had no real choice but to then move on from everything that they had in turn. I think Grumpy Pig brings up a point in a way. They probably should have traded him after the 2023 season. But they also thought they were still going to be competing. They felt it was going to be a slight turnover, especially when you're spending $20 million on Robert. You're spending $17 million on Benintendi. They were spending, I think, $10 million on Eloy. They were spending $6 million on Vaughn. They still thought that there was a way out, and that obviously came to a cratering halt during the year of 2024. Let's look at Luis Robert Jr., and I want to mainly look at the not Bobby Orr's percentile rankings where he looks at damage. So there are the StatCast bubbles where you can look at expected weighted on base average, expected batting average, expected slugging percentage. We'll look at some of those, but what I want to look at mainly is damage per batted ball event, 90th percentile exit velocity, max exit velocity, pulled fly ball percentage, his Seager percentage, selectivity percentage, hittable pitch take percentage, and then chase percentage. So when we're looking at these numbers, these are all in percentile. So if I say 2, that means he had 2 percentile from 1 to 0. So his chase rate was terrible this year. He was a 2% chase rate. Oh, sorry. Actually, that's wrong. This is not even the right season. I'm so sorry. This year, he had a 29% chase rate, which lines up because the reason I'm giving him a C+ was not only because of the 30 steals, but his eye was a lot better than it's ever been. He had a career high in walk rate, 9.3%, 62 percentile throughout the league. And if you look into his actual walk per strikeout ratio, he finished with a .36 walk to strikeout ratio. His previous career high was .27 in his rookie year, and his second highest was .23. He finished with a .36, so that's about .13 higher than last year. So he increased his walk to strikeout ratio significantly. And then in the second half, it was nearly .46. So not for every 2 walks, it's 1 strikeout, but for every 2 walks, for every two strikeouts, it's 1 walk. He's getting close to that. It's not near 1-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio, which would be like near elite. But for him, being a power hitter, being near 50% or .50 is huge. And again, he still has ability to create top-end bat speed and exit velocities. We'll look into that. But that chase rate being 29th percentile, I know it's below average, but here are his previous years. 18 in 2024, 6 in 2023, 2022, 2%, 2021, 5%, and then 2024. So they've taken a player that was in the bottom 10 percentile and taken him to the 30th percentile. Not only are you wondering, hey, could he continue to make those strides and be closer to the second half, where maybe that even chase percentage is closer to like 40 percentile, and then take that ability to create high-end bat speed and actually create damage. That was the one thing that he really didn't do this year. Let's look at damage per batted ball event. We'll go through his rookie year to this year so you can kind of get the idea of where he stands altogether. Luis Robert Jr. in his rookie year 2020, 70th percentile in Major League Baseball when it comes to damage per batted ball event, 88th percentile in 2021, 67th percentile in 2022, 89th percentile in 2023. His best years clearly were 2021 and 2023 when he was doing the most damage, and that obviously plays out well on his stat sheet. I think those are the 2 years that he's been over 3 WAR. 2023, 89th percentile, that's where we left off. 2024, 79th percentile, and then 2025, 69th percentile. So that is near a career worst for Luis Robert Jr., that's 69th percentile, but he's also been there 3 years before, and they're right before career years. That 70th turns into 88th percentile, that 67th in 2022 turns into 89th percentile. That 79th in 2024 turns into 69. Not good, wrong direction, but I do think that with his bat speed not falling off, I think that damage can be created. The one thing that he has never done in his career is square up baseballs. This is a metric over at StatCast. Squared up percentage. Luis Robert Jr. is in 2025 9th percentile. 2024 he was 4th percentile, and in 2023 3rd percentile. He's always created a high bat speed. 94th percentile in 2023, 85th percentile in 2024. This year 92th percentile. But what squared up pretty much says is Robert swings a hard bat, but with how many bats and swings he takes, he really never gets good wood on a ball. He swings a very fast bat, but isn't really taking the full energy of that ball and displacing it in the right way. He's swinging as fast as he possibly can, but with real no finesse to his swing. Robert isn't really able to tattoo those balls like we were seeing in 2023. There were moments in 2025, but nothing ever consistent. I think the biggest key, at least for Robert, with his increased plate discipline, the increase of squared percentile needs to go up. We're going to talk a little bit more in depth about these numbers and what it all means. But when you look at his max EVs, when you look at his 90th percentile EVs, it shows that he's unable to square up balls. You look at least this year, 90th percentile exit velocity. So when he is hitting his batted balls, his 90th percentile, where does that rank among other hitters' 90th percentile? 76 in 2025. He was nearly above 90 in every year from 2020 to 2023. 2024, 86th percentile. So that's another thing. They need to get him back up to creating those max exit velocities with consistency. But that max exit velocity, this is why I'm really not worried about him. He was in the 96th percentile. Rookie year, 98th percentile. 2021, 99th percentile. 2022, 99th percentile. 2023, 88th percentile. 2024, 86th percentile. 2025, back up to 96th percentile. So it shows you there that he's able to create max exit velocities that rank above the tops of Major League Baseball, but that 90th percentile exit velocity shows, at least that in 2025, he wasn't able to do that consistently. So while the eye improved and the bat speed's still there. The biggest thing that Ryan Fuller needs to work on with Luis Robert Jr. is that consistency of, all right, I'm getting a 95 mile per hour fastball. I can't turn this into an 88 mile per hour ground out, right? I need to be able to turn this into a 100 mile per hour plus line drive. That's going to be the key for Luis Robert Jr. We'll get more into his numbers. We'll get more into his defensive numbers. We'll get more into his base running numbers. I have some numbers why I think Luis Robert Jr.'s trade value might not be as high as it's ever been, but still is fairly high, especially if he gets out to a good start in 2026. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. We want to let you know about our friends over at Bet365. It is football season, and you can be a winner with our friends over at Bet365. Sign up with code CHGO365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. And you can check out their great offers all throughout the season. They have offers on Thursday night. You get a $10 safety net bet on a same-game parlay. On Monday night, you get a 50% Super Boost profit token on same-game parlays. And this past couple weeks, there's been 2 Monday night games to wager on. And on Sunday night, they have a $365,000 jackpot where you place a $10 bet on the first touchdown scorer and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. And even if your first touchdown scorer cashes, if they are the last touchdown scorer, you're still eligible for the $365,000 bonus bet jackpot. If you're a new customer, sign up with the code CHGO365. When you bet $5, whether that bet wins or loses, you get $200 in bonus bets. Sign up using code CHGO365. Deposit $10. Place a bet of $5 to get $200 in bonus bets. If your bet wins or loses, bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Must be 21 plus. If you or someone who has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Ray CDJR. New vehicles are in store at Ray, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, and this is your chance to score a great deal at the Drive into Fall event. Head into Ray CDJR on Route 12 today to choose from their huge inventory of new Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram vehicles. Right now, get 0% financing for 72 months available on new models. Plus, shop over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With a friendly team of brand experts, the team at Ray CDJR is here to help you during each step of your car shopping journey. And with Ray's Price Promise, you can shop confidently with no add-ons or hidden fees ever. It's simple. The price you see is the price you pay. The price you see is the price you pay. Makes sense. Don't miss out on the Drive into Fall event for huge savings on new models. For more information, visit Ray CDJR today on Route 12 in Fox Lake or online at raycdjr.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. And appreciate Jim for hitting the thumbs up icon on his YouTube website to indicate that he likes this content. If you also want to indicate to YouTube, the YouTube website, that you like this content, hit that thumbs up button icon. We'd appreciate it. We do have Goop asking, how could he bring that up, though? My simple-minded thought process goes to giving him a torpedo. So if you're talking about simply squared up, I think the biggest thing that, at least I'll explain the squared up rate, at least how Statcast describes it, because squaring up a baseball could also just be colloquial. The true definition is a swing squared up rate tells us how much of the highest possible exit velocity available based on physics related to the swing speed and pitch speed a batter was able to obtain. It is, at its simplest, how much exit velocity did you get a share of how much exit velocity was possible based on your swing speed and the speed of the pitch. A swing that is 60% squared up, for example, tells you that a batter obtains 60% of the maximum possible exit velocity available to him, again, based on the speed of the swing and pitch. And with data observations, it's told us that it's possible to obtain that a maximum exit velocity when a ball hits the sweet spot of the bat, approximately 4 to 9 inches of the bat. So you're not wrong for bringing up shifting the barrel to maybe consistently get that sweet spot more. But the issue with Robert is I don't think Robert knows where the ball's going half the time. I think he did a really good job of understanding what's in the strike zone and, hey, if anything's thrown inside, that's where I'm going to be aggressive. But he just kind of gave up if he knew a ball was away. And he still has a below average chase rate. He still, if he saw a slider away, he's swinging at it. So you need to eliminate that, and I think that will slowly elevate the squared up rate. And they did raise it. They raised it from 4 to 3% to 9%. Not great, but still they raised it. I don't know if it's necessarily him getting jammed. I think it's just pitch recognition. I've wondered if Luis Robert Jr. needs some eye correctiveness. Max Muncy needed it, and Max Muncy immediately started hitting well. I'm not trying to be like rude or anything. I do wonder if Luis Robert Jr. does have good eyesight at the plate, if he does see those seams. There's a crazy video that I still haven't gotten into because it's like an hour on YouTube. But it's a long video essay about how the elite of the elite have like eagle eye sight. Like part of what makes you an elite athlete is the ability to see things as they unfold by true detail. And you could talk here, pitchers or hitters talk about picking up pitches based on their seam alone. I don't know if Robert has that ability or if he's just guessing off of the velocity or the perceived velocity. I don't think the torpedo is a wrong idea or wrong theory. I just don't know if it's necessarily the fix for this player because he did hit 38 homers with a normal bat. However, again, he did it with a squared up percentage of 4%. So I'm not against it. I just don't know exactly how to study where he's currently getting it on the bat. There is no StatCast metric on... I don't. Do I have a bat in here? No. If this is a bat, right, and this is the sweet spot. Yeah, my phone's broken. If this is the sweet spot, right, this kind of right under the camera, I want to know if this was the bat, like where he currently is hitting it. Is he hitting it where the Apple logo is, and he needs to be hitting it a little bit more over? I guess I'm flipping you guys off. This is a bad bit. But I don't know currently where he is making contact. I just know that it's not being squared up. And for StatCast purposes too, any swing that is at least 80% squared up is considered to be a squared up swing. So he could be right now around, like he could be getting at like a 78 percentile in every swing, which could still result in a home run. It's just not maximally efficient. There are two examples as well. Trevor Larnach, it's a 75.6 mile per hour swing off a 98.8 mile per hour fastball. The max possible exit velocity given with those numbers is 113.4 miles per hour. The actual exit velocity is 110, 97% squared up, 110 divided by 113.4. There's a Ronald Acuna Jr. flyout, 78.6 mile per hour swing off a 98.4 mile per hour fastball. The max possible exit velocity is 117.4. The actual exit velocity is 90.3. It was only 77% squared up, and that's why it's a fly ball. Larnach didn't have to swing as hard as Acuna, but he squared it up much more, who got jammed. So it could be a true issue of the bat, but I don't see him ever like getting jammed inside. He just never really knows where the ball's going. I don't think he finds consistency with his barrel, and I feel like that's more of an eye contact thing. Not even a hand-eye thing. I think it's like a true just vision thing. I feel like he's missing a lot more. I feel like he thinks he knows where the ball is, and it's just underneath it. Like there's a ton of times where he'll just get a fastball like middle, and he'll just whiff under it. Because I think he thinks it's going to be there, and he's like an inch off, and that inch is enough to create a whiff. That's all just hyperbole and me just guessing. But I do think that there has to be something there because I think the discipline's there. I think he understands the plate, but I don't think he understands like the depth per se. Like I think he knows like the ball's coming in here, but he has no idea if he has backspin or if it has a dot like a slider has. I think he just knows that ball's going away from me. I'm just going to spit on it, right? I think he's been a lot more selective, but I don't think it's like a vision thing. Let's get into some of the selective numbers because this is what has me excited. His Seager, which is swinging at balls in the zone and not swinging at balls outside the zone. He's not chasing as much as he has. So here is at least his Seager ratings. In 2023, when he had a great year, 58 percentile. In 2024, 55 percentile. And he's done this now 4 times, which is surprising to me. He's had a Seager rating with an 80 percentile rating for 4 seasons. 2020, 86 percentile, 2021, 81 percentile, 2022, 90th percentile, and then 2025, 95 percentile. I don't know if it's necessarily, especially in those early years, selectivity in that one, or he was just swinging at every pitch. And if you're swinging at 2 pitches, you swing one of them inside the zone, one of them outside the zone, you got a 50% rate of a Seager rate. So if he goes up there and swings at the first pitch and makes contact with it, that still gets rewarded. I think those high Seager rates where you're at 86, 81, and 90 percentile in your first 2 years, I feel like that was because of the early swing rate. And now you're seeing a 95% Seager rate because he's finally actually taking pitches. You look at the selectivity percentage, 28 percentile in 2020, 7 in 2021, 6 in 2022, 2023, 9. We knew he was working on some discipline stuff in 2024. It never came to fruition because of injuries and then because they just sucked and he really gave up. I don't blame him. But 29th percentile, so matching his rookie year. And then this year in 2025, 47 percentile. He was almost an average hitter when it comes to selectiveness. The one thing that people wanted from Luis Robert Jr. is obviously a consistency of health and just good luck health, but you also wanted him to become a hitter. You wanted him to be like, all right, this is the pitch I need to hit. I think he's learning to say, I know how to hit these pitches. I think his just eyesight's off of actually hitting those pitches. He's able to create the bat speed. I think he just he's not able to really like line up the barrel with the ball to create great impact. And I think it might just be an eyesight thing. I'm truly just talking out of my behind. But you also look at the hittable pitch take percentage. This is something that you don't want to be 0 because that means you are taking a ton, right? This is a pitch down the middle. I shouldn't be taking at this. This also shows kind of why his Seager's always been high and also kind of plays into the first pitch swinging idea that I had. In 2020, 97th percentile, 2021, 99th percentile, 2022, 99th percentile, 2023, 95th percentile, 2024, 75th percentile, and then 2025, 97th percentile. The fact that he's been more selective but still been able to damage and swing at strikes should be very promising and should be very exciting for Sox fans. I know that health is the be-all, end-all, and there's nothing really that we can do about that. You hope that he is being the top level athlete and taking care of his body that you hope he is, but I also think he's just gotten terrible luck. He's never looked out of shape. He's never looked like, a fat slob. Luis Robert Jr. has always looked like a cartoon character of an athlete. It's been surprising that he's been unable to stay healthy. We'll talk a little bit more about these data points. We'll talk a little bit about defense. We'll talk about that $20 million number, and then we will jump into some other stuff that's happening. I'm going to talk a little bit of hockey. I might even talk about fish. We're going to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. But first, we want to let you know about our friends over at 4 Seasons. For all the right reasons, call 866-4-SEASONS. Thanks. Whoa, look at you, Sarah. Winter will be here before you know it. Is your home's heating up for the challenge? My radiators kicked on today, so I'm very, very excited for that. Finally, they started working. If you got a plumbing emergency, call 4 Seasons. If you got an electrical emergency, call 4 Seasons. If you need a new hot water tank installed today, call 4 Seasons. 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric has been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. At 4 Seasons, they guarantee same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. And you can check out their other offers over at 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. Not only do they offer that price on nights, weekends, and holidays, you could save up to $4,000 on furnaces and comfort systems with 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Furnaces start at $39 a month, and furnace AC combos from $57 a month. Call today to save $50 from your trusted local experts. 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Your trusted local experts are 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric. Visit 4seasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's at 4seasonsheatingcooling.com. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time. If you are looking to take advantage of the Blackhawk season that is underway, if you are looking to take advantage of the bowl season that's starting on Wednesday, Game Time is the app that gives the advantage back to fans. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. You can go see Tate McRae. Come on, who doesn't want to see Tate McRae? I don't really want to see Tate McRae. But I would use Game Time if I wanted to see Tate McRae or a Bulls game or a Blackhawks game. It's incredibly easy to use, and Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. Plus, fees are always included, so you see, or what you see is what you pay. And the best time, too, about Game Time is the closer you get to Game Time, the price goes down. The more patient you are, the more you'll be rewarded with the Game Time app. So use Game Time to snag the best deals out there. Take the guesswork out of buying NBA tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today.
You don't want to see Tate McRae? I saw her at Lala last year.
Was she good?
I mean, I think she's great. She's like the modern era of Britney Spears, is my take on her.
Yeah.
She gives me like 2025 Britney Spears vibes.
I don't like her songs.
That's fine.
You know?
That's fine. I don't like all her music either, but I think I like her aura more than anything. I like a handful of her songs. Would I listen to her album top to bottom? No. Would I go watch her dance and sing on stage? Probably.
Britney had a bit more panache. Britney had a bit more.
Well,
Britney was raised.
Britney's still Britney.
Yeah,
Yeah, definitely don't want to overshadow what Britney did because I love Britney Spears. But Tate McRae is she's good.
I don't know if Tate McRae's got the personality, but we'll see. All right,
we'll see.
Let's look at one final dorky number because this also plays into it as well. He is swinging at a lot of strikes. But the one thing that you do want to see increase, and it's not like the worst number ever that he's currently at. It's just, again, that he's not squaring up pitches as much as he was. Z contact, that is zone contact rate. So how much contact are you actually making? He obviously swings at a ton of pitches in the zone, but is he making good contact? He obviously, as I brought up, he misses. He swings at pitches in the zone. He'll just swing and miss at them. Z contact, he was in the 4th percentile in 2020, which is not good, but he still had like a 300% average. 49 percentile in 2021, 59 percentile in 2022, 34 percentile in 2023, his 38 and 30 year. 2024, 30th percentile, and then 2025, 37th percentile. So it is his, second best year of his career on Z contact percent, but it's not the point where you want it. Again, he's making enough contact to at least have that 38 homer season. It's just not quality contact, and that's a real big concern. Final thing too, whiff percentage versus secondaries. He's missing a lot he's whiffing less at sliders. 11 percentile in 2020, 52 percentile in 2021. 2022, 48 percentile, 2023, 26 percentile, 2024, 15 percentile, 2025, 22 percentile. So again, he's swinging at less sliders away. He's still swinging at them, but he's swinging at less of them. He's swinging at less fastballs up and away. He's still swinging at them, but he's swinging at less of them. I really am interested at what he could do here at now 29 next year. He'll be 29 in August, so he's still 28. But I don't think he's been damaged goods. This isn't like Grady Sizemore at 28, where Grady Sizemore had the production, just none of the athleticism was left. Luis Robert Jr. is still a fantastic athlete. He showed that with his range. We'll talk a little bit about the defense now. I think I gave it a B. I still want him to be a little bit better of a thrower. He doesn't have a great arm. The highlight reel plays are nice, but I feel like he could just be a little bit more consistent on like the 3-star catches. He's good on the 5-star catches, but like the kind of like 60th percentile, like the 40th to 60% catch probability, he sometimes doesn't get the best jump on him, which is weird. He's able to make the difficult plays and make those look really easy. Sometimes he's not able to make the easy ones look easy. Make the easy ones look easy and make the hard ones look hard. That's fine with me because then you'll get a little bit more consistency with your outs. I think he could still be like an A- defender. He's not a Pete Crow Armstrong, right? Not to bring that guy up because he's on the north side, but that is just the best center fielder right now in baseball. And part of that is because Pete's 22. Pete's going to get fat and slow. So by 28, will Pete still be that defender? Probably not. So still credit to Robert for being that. But I don't want to say like he's the best defender in center field. He's a top 10 defender, which is, around a B plus. If you want to give him a B plus, that's fine with me. But let's get into his base running. This is why I still think that he is extremely, extremely valuable. You could agree with Grumpy Pig and friends saying his value is not what it was in 2023, early season 2024, but he's got 1 year left of $20 million. And if he comes out of the gate for the first 2 months, he could have a lot of teams interested in him. We just saw what George Springer did. It's just another bat to make them think like, oh, well, that's the leadoff guy. If I walk him, I'm just going to be facing Vladdy or whoever, Barger, etc. It gives you that second thought. Like, if Robert's your leadoff hitter, yeah, you got Shohei and Kyle Tucker coming up. You probably want to pitch to Robert. We know, though, if you give Robert a pitch to hit, it could go 450 feet. I think some team will talk themselves into Luis Robert Jr., and here's why. Since 2023, and I am including his best year, sue me, here are the players that have hit 60 homers and have stolen 60 bases. 15 players. Shohei Ohtani, Francisco Lindor, Jose Ramirez, Bobby Witt Jr., Julio Rodriguez, Gunnar Henderson, Corbin Carroll, Jazz Chisholm Jr., Kyle Tucker, Fernando Tatis Jr., Randy Arozarena, Ronald Acuna Jr., Luis Robert Jr., Trey Turner, and Ellie De La Cruz. That's elite company. And, I mean, some of these guys have played 400 games. Obviously, Robert playing 355, not the same as Acuna, who has more stolen bases and the same amount of homers, right? Robert's played in 52 more games than Acuna since 2023 and still has the same amount of homers and stolen bases, or less stolen bases. So, like, he's not, like, the elite of the elite. Like, there's still Acunas out there. But this isn't a guy I just feel like you should discard. Like, I mean, even Kyle Tucker, who's going to get $500 million, like, I understand Tucker gives you a lot more consistency. Tucker gives you a lot more average. Tucker gives you a lot more walks. Robert gives you better defense. And, I mean, at least looking at the homer and stolen bases numbers, Tucker 74, Robert 66. Stolen bases, Tucker 66, Robert 76. You look at games played, they're about the same. 371, 355. I hear all this talk about how, Luis Robert Jr. is injury prone. Some people have been bringing it up with Kyle Tucker. I don't really want to blame the guy for playing through a broken finger during a contract year. He still put up like 5 WAR. I think Luis Robert Jr., to wrap up this whole report card thing, is still extremely valuable. And I know that some people might be soured on him heading into the 2026 year. I feel like you didn't watch in 2025 if you have that thought process. He was really bad to start this year. So if you were watching in April, okay, you can have that thought. But what he showed after the All-Star break was not only that athleticism back, but he showed like a wanting to be in Chicago. He was excited to be Colson Montgomery's teammate. He was excited that they had a little handshake. He was going up and calling him Monty Monster, right? Like, Robert has seemed to gotten over the 2023 Sox and 2021 Sox and has seemed to adapted to this new team. I really wonder what he's going to look like coming into 2026, knowing, hey, it's not as bad as 2024. Hey, it's not as bad as 2025. I don't have to meet all these new people. I've met Montgomery. He was in spring training. Now we just played through each other with an entire season. Mydroth, like he knows a decent amount of players on this team. Like, I think this could be a very, very good year for Luis Robert Jr. I'm now going to knock on wood. Sarah, I think that's made of wood. Please knock on that. This is made of wood. I think that's most of the wood. Okay. We've knocked on a sufficient amount of wood here. All right, so we'll move on from Luis Robert Jr., but I do think that overall, not a great year. But if you're writing him off, I think you're doing something a little bit foolish. Again, overall, we're giving him a C+ for the 2025 year. Let's head into some fish talk. No, let's hold fish talk. Let's first talk about what's happening in the NHL. The Carolina Hurricanes are hosting the Colorado Avalanche tonight. The Hurricanes are wearing Hartford Whaler jerseys, and the Colorado Avalanche are wearing Quebec Nordique jerseys. So technically, the folded Quebec Nordiques are taking on the folded Hartford Whalers. I would love to see a baseball equivalent to this. The Washington Nationals cosplaying as the Montreal Expos. I guess I got to figure out a team that's, I guess, like the Seattle Pilots, but they technically didn't fold. The Providence Grays. I really can only think of of Montreal right now. But what would be the equivalent, I guess, is what I'm throwing out there, to the Montreal Expos playing another folded Major League Baseball team? I'd love to see it. I'd love to see the throwback Montreal Expos out there, even if the Expos aren't actually coming back. Have you ever seen the Whaler jerseys?
No, I was just about to Google it.
Look up the Whaler jerseys. Look up the Nordique jerseys. They're very pretty. I guess like it'd be not even the Baltimore Colts. I can't even think of like a good
The Whaler
example.
jerseys. I mean,
Yeah.
This is great,
right?
Yeah,
The
and
nice
honestly,
green and blue.
yeah, I like this.
They used to play in a mall.
Really?
They used to play in the Hartford Mall.
Wow.
Like you'd be going to
People
Sears.
don't go to malls anymore.
You'd be going to Foot Locker and be like, oh hey, Whalers are up 2-1 in the second period.
This is their best one. It's a purple,
Yes.
green, and off-white hoodie type look.
It's
This is
just
cool.
that blue with that green is just
Yeah.
mwah.
Ugh, and then
you'll
a
see that.
Dodgers ad pops
Yeah,
up.
there you go. And then you'll see that light blue Quebec Nordiques with that red. Mwah. It's beautiful. I don't like. I guess it'd be like the New York Metropolitans or the St. Louis Maroons. None of these are fun. The Indianapolis Hoosiers. There's not really a team that pairs well with the Montreal Expos, unfortunately. So I guess you could do the Oakland A's. It's a little.
I don't like the Oakland
bleak.
A's. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of their jerseys and like color scheme. And
You don't like the yellow and green?
no, it's fine. It's just like yellow and green is like Packers colors.
That's
and
fair.
it's like it gives me
That's fair.
like Wisconsin vibes.
It feels a little bit different because
Yeah.
it's baseball, but because you're thinking of the Packers.
I just have
That's
negative like associations towards that.
No hate there. All right, let's get to the comments real quick, and then I'll see if I can talk about fish. I don't think I will. Colton Eldridge saying if Luis Robert Jr. had a solid first half, I think the Sox could have gotten some solid prospects. Hopefully, getting some bats, lefty bats preferably. Like I think if he has a solid first half in 2026, they're easily trading him. If he is healthy, I think that they can easily trade him. If he's healthy and good, maybe we can start defining if those are lefty bats. If he's healthy, I still think they get something. I still think they can eat like a certain amount of that money, especially when you get to the halfway point and some of it's already been paid to them. I think you can really talk yourself into getting it. And it's good to see that Chris N knocked as well. We got to make sure that you guys are knocking on wood with us. Knock on wood if you're with me. I guess I'm turning into John Gruden. And then Vance Lubin saying, do you think Mike Tauchman will be back for 2026? Which other outfielders could be signed into the fold? I did bring back Tauchman in my offseason project plan. I think it was for around like $2.75 million. I think why not? There isn't somebody that I'm really like begging to be up.
Talkman was good
way.
before his injury.
He was.
Yeah.
He's like the worst part about Mike Tauchman's 2024 was just that he was old, right? And that's no fault of his own. He's still going to be old, but he was
He's
a
still
good player.
Though. Yeah.
So I'm not against it. Like the one guy that I'm just really interested in is, do they want to call up Braden Montgomery? It seemed like this team was really doing well with a lot of the young players around them. I think that Braden Montgomery could be Cam Smith-ish. I felt had large reservations about Cam Smith being on that Astros roster, and he played fine enough to where I'm like, why not? They almost made the playoffs with Cam Smith being their full-time left fielder. It's not the worst thing. And hey, Braden Montgomery, when you look at his first at-bat in the Arizona Fall League, it's a 110.2 mile per hour double. Bring him up. I don't know. I think Tauchman can be back. I wouldn't be surprised if Montgomery's in there. I think Robert's the center fielder. And I think at least because they'll be bringing back Lenine, I think Benintendi will be the left fielder. So I don't know if the outfield's going to be that much different from 2025, if we're being honest, because Tauchman wasn't that bad. He's still cheapish. He's under arbitration. Benintendi's they're stuck with. Robert, they're stuck with in a way. Less than Benintendi. There's still some hope for Robert there. But I think the outfield could look similar-ish. However, Dave Dombrowski is saying, I don't know if Bryce Harper is elite anymore. Do we want sloppy seconds? We put the Bryce Harper banner up at the United Center being like, oh, I never gave him a real deal, but they're just getting rid of him. $196 million. We got like, 17 plus 17? We got like $32 million we can eat of that. Do they want Andrew Benintendi? I'd call. I'd like Bryce Harper on the south side. Why not? We need a first baseman. Why not? Let's do it. All right. So start tweeting at Dave Dombrowski that Andrew Benintendi looked really good in the second half, and I think we'll be doing our part as White Sox fans. We're gonna wrap up the show here on the CHGO White Sox podcast. I'm surprised it even got to 45 minutes. So
that's fast.
Yay! It did go fast.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Time flies when you're having fun. Hit that thumbs up button if you have fun. Make sure you subscribe to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Thank you to Sarah for producing the show. I am Sean Anderson. We'll see you tomorrow. I think at like 6 o'clock. It's a weird show, kind of. Tomorrow's weird. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.